It is time now for our segment of Today's Health, and it's Tuesday. I always love Tuesdays, and I'm always curious about what I'm going to learn and what I'm not going to be able to do. This morning we have Brandon Payne with us. He's an ISU trainer. You said assistant
athletic trainer
for football and
softball.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. He's here to talk with us a little bit about some stretching techniques. But first, I'm kind of curious, with those two different sports, what injuries do you see the most, and what do you think can help prevent them?
Lots of stuff that comes about typically in the early season, like softball's going through right now, is overuse type injuries or flexibility issues leading to injuries that hold them out not long, we're talking a week maybe, and it's frustrating for us, frustrating for the athlete, because they're being held out of a critical time in their sport when they're trying to prepare for games. Once we're into games, we need them to be going.
Yeah.
And so these overuse injuries that can sometimes be easily taken care of with flexibility issues should be handled far in advance.
Okay, wonderful.
We run into that a lot.
Okay, yeah, I played volleyball for a while, and that always seemed to be our thing, is we didn't stretch long enough, and you're rolling all over the court, and so it can be a very damaging thing. So stretching is kind of the key for these athletes, to make sure that these little mishaps don't happen throughout the season.
Stretching and making sure they're warming up properly so they're ready for their activity, and their body is ready for what's going to happen during the activity is really important.
Okay, wonderful. Well, let's talk a little bit about these stretching techniques. We were talking earlier about how everyone needs to be stretching, whether they're at their cubicle, they're at work, their office. So you have a few tips for those business people who can't get out and do their, exercising on a daily basis. So tell us what you have for us.
Yes, the three that we're going to show today are more to help with low back pain.
Okay.
Most people know the hamstrings, quad type stretching, stuff like that. They miss a lot of the glutes or the butt area and parts of the hips that need to be taken care of, and these three stretches really do a good job of taking care of those areas, and they can be done in a chair or on the floor really quickly. So if you are in a cubicle and you can't get away, you can do them while sitting at your computer desk.
Okay, wonderful. So tell us what we're doing.
The first one we're going to do is down on the floor. It's for the hip flexors, which is on the front. So actually, if you go down onto one knee like this, a little different. The big thing is the foot that's back. Make sure the toes are pointed. You don't want your toes tucked under. You want them pointed.
Okay.
And what you do is you lean, you think of pushing your hips forward.
Okay.
So if you drive those hips forward, and once you get to a point where you really can't go forward much farther, pull your shoulders back, and you should feel it stretching right in the front.
Oh, yeah.
A little higher than if you were to do a quad stretch. You feel it. It's more kind of in the hip area.
Okay.
They're basically the muscles that lift your leg up.
Okay.
You're getting a great stretch on them.
I'm falling.
You can, to kind of get different aspects.
She has like 6-inch heels on, too. It's a little different when you're pointing a toe up.
A little harder in heels if you're tennis.
Okay.
You can twist to the sides. You'll get a little different. You'll feel it change positions.
Okay.
If you're getting for flexibility and not just for like activity warm-up, holding it for at least 30 seconds is going to help you to sustain that stretch longer throughout the day.
Okay, and then you would switch legs.
And you do the other leg as well. But we'll move on from there. The next one will be sitting in the chairs. So if you want to take a seat. These might be slightly high, but typically what you'd want is a good 90-90. So 90 degrees at the hips, 90 degrees at the knees. What you're going to do is bring one foot up and just lean it right on your knee like you're going to be stretching. Okay.
I have to pull my leg up.
With this one, the big thing is to not slouch. So you want to think nice and tall. The way a lot of people describe it is think that you have a pole in your head and someone's yanking on it. So it's pulling you up nice and tall.
Sure.
Push down slightly just on your knee, and now staying nice and tall. Slowly rock your chest towards.
And then you can be typing with this hand.
Yep, you can be if you need to be doing stuff like that. You should feel it kind of in the butt area.
Yeah, it does feel good.
It helps stretch some of the smaller muscles in your butt or glute area, and it helps loosen up the hip capsules, which is really going to help with low back pain. These tend to be tighter and heavy issues. The next one is now take your leg and completely just cross it right over. Yep, perfect. Again, think nice and tall. And now lean forward again. You'll feel it more kind of in the side, a little bit area. Again, you can be typing, doing these at the desk. Odd way to be sitting, but it does.
Good morning.
The big thing is to make sure, again, you're not slouching, because that puts a lot of strain on your back.
Some really great information. Thanks.
Thank you so much for joining us. There's a lot more of KPVI News 6 Today still to come.